Hula is life.
Yep.
You eat, you breathe, you sleep, everything is hula.
Hula is feeling the flow. It's understanding what you're dancing about and putting it into your terms. I'm not a dance studio.
Yeah.
This is not a dance studio.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick so many credits or how many hours you coming in. What I teach you is what you learn.
Cultural appropriation is if you show up to a space and you cannot give your mo'oko a hau, then you gotta question the person you're learning from. Hello, my KOKO, and welcome back to KOKO Podcast. Mahalo for joining us for our 6th episode of our podcast here at Kaʻula Ole Kona Hawaiian Civic Club and right out of our Aloha Resource and Community Center. Today we're so excited to have a dear friend of mine, another Kumu Hula in the area, Kumu Mokihana, and I'm going to give it over to her to offer a little bit of introduction. Again, we're just here to talk story. We talk story a lot, so
a lot.
So please, if you could just introduce yourself and who you are and where you're from and all the fun stuff, all those
Mahalo
things.
so much, first of all, for having me on the podcast. This is an amazing opportunity. My first one, so I'm really excited. But aloha. My name's Kumu Mokihana Melendez. I'm from Seattle, Washington. I've been dancing hula since I was 2.5 years old, started formal training at 5. And then in 1996, so this is the 29th year of my Halau. Next year we're celebrating 30 years. I've had the opportunity to travel all over the continental United States and, back in Hawaii, also in Canada, and share hula, my hula lineage, going to help. I love going to kokua for other kumu hula if I can in any way, shape, or form. And for me, hula really is life. It's my everyday from the time I wake up till the time I close my eyes.
We breathe it.
And even when I'm in sleep, I dream. That's where my visions happen. So sometimes good, sometimes bad, but I'm still here. So
period. So one of the things that I think I always love is your story. Being raised here on the continent, and then being able to share hula, but still keeping. So can you share a little bit of that mo'oko hau of where you being here and growing up here and how you
it's really interesting because my father was in the military and he got stationed in Washington. He had a choice leaving Massachusetts from going to Wisconsin or going to Washington, and my mom was tired of snow. She was like, I'm done. So they came over here to Seattle, and then my mom found out she was hapai with me. And the fact that he said, if it's a girl, I'm going to go and retire. If it's a boy, I'm going to enlist 5 more years. Well, here I am. And I was always I gravitated from like the time I was able to walk to like mele, like music. I loved listening to music and my body would just move along with the music. So my dad always thought, you know what, I think she's going to be a hula dancer. And when he brought me to my first hula class, I was so mesmerized by the ipuheke. And then what happened was I would get 45. This is how old I am now, so you guys can, it's on this record. At 45s, if you don't know what those are, children out there, a 45 record, it was a smaller version of a vinyl record, and it only played like one song. Flip it over, you get another song. Well, at the time, that's how we could hear Kahiko and chanting. So Uncle George, Uncle Henry Pa, like all these different people. So as a child, my dad would play that, and he found that I could chant and I could mimic really, really good. So at 2.5, besides doing basics and learning hula noho, to have the kala out here, that's like old school for me. Learning how to do that. I started like really formal training, and I didn't stay with one kumu throughout my life because, like how they say, yeah. So with that, I learned from my one kumu hula, I learned my foundationary basics, and then she brought me to her kumu, where I learned the entertainment aspect of it, learning how to be able to make the audience smile. And like I got into that, I loved it. I loved putting, back then it was blue eyeshadow, pink cheeks and
Yep.
red lips. So,
Yep.
you know. And I remember I wanted to learn more. Like I was so like thirsty to learn. And at that time, Kumu Hula from Hawaii had moved up to actually Vancouver, Washington. His name was Uncle Newton Ka'anohi Hitchcock.
Oh.
And Uncle Newton, he was the only Kane Kumu Hula in Washington at the time. And what he did was different than everybody else up here. He actually was the first one to have a hula competition in Washington State called the Pacific Northwest Polynesian Dance Competition. And this is where he was bringing Kumu Hula from back home, and this is how I got a lot of my mentors, meeting my mentors, because Uncle Newton, he brought me everywhere. They used to call me Miss Memorex when I was a kid because I would watch, listen, and then by the third time I could do. And that's old school hula.
Yep.
I didn't know how to take hula notes.
No.
Like,
Or the videos these days.
Everyone's like, can you just send me a video? No video here. You know, it doesn't work like that. I'm old school kind. I don't tape my kahikos. If it's an awana that I choreograph, then yeah, sure, you know, I get it. But not the kahiko, not my lineage stuff. No way. I'm not going to record that. And so my mom brought me to Uncle Newton, and it was only supposed to be for Tahitian. Because, yes, the body don't look like it now, but back in the day, trust and believe, I was a very good Tahitian dancer. I think if I would have had that opportunity to train a little bit more, I don't know where my path would have led me. But with Uncle Newton, he saw something in me and he believed in me, where he was bringing me to all these kumu hula with him. Like, one day, and I know she's here with us, but Auntie Aloha.
Oh, yes.
So I was 13 years old. I was taking a kahiko workshop with Auntie Leialoha Kalama.
Oh, yep.
Aloha Kalama.
Yep,
I was
yep,
taking
yep.
a hula workshop with her.
Yep,
and all
yep,
of a
yep.
sudden I get pulled out. And all my aunties are fixing my hair, putting on a different pa'u, like everything. I'm like, what's going on? Here I get brought into this banquet room, and there's Auntie Aloha, front and center. And I walked in and I go, and I thought that is the very first Miss Hula. Like, if any person I could meet in the world, meeting her for the first time. And this is where I got to know my mentors back home. And Auntie Aloha was my mentor to the day she passed away. For what she gave me and the confidence and that guidance. Because there's times when you're a young kumu hula and everyone everyone want to vala'au, the coconut wireless begins, and they want to make all these kind of assumptions, but they don't know. So Auntie Aloha, she was there. She helped ground me, and especially when my kumu passed away, it was at a point where when you lose your kumu hula, your world falls apart.
Oh, yeah.
It was at the point where I was like, I'm not going to dance hula anymore after Uncle Newton died. It took me a good, 5-6 months. I was like, I'm Paul. I can't do this no more. But then that's where my vision started. That's when Uncle Newton started coming to me in my dreams. T, what are you doing? You better get up. You got to go and do your thing.
Got a homo.
And so my parents got a phone call because I was only 13, 14. But as of this point in time, I could go out there. I could go to any entertainment group, like how they have Tihari Productions back home. They had the entertainment groups up here. And so this one, my next kumu, Auntie Claire, called me, my parents, and said, I know that Mokihana knows the routines that Newton used to do, and I need a really strong dancer. So my parents tricked me because I was very adamant, no, I'm not dancing for anybody else. And then put my hula bag in the car, brought me to class, and I was like, I'm not getting out of the car. They're like, get in there now. You've been requested. And that's the first time I've ever heard the word, you've been requested as a hula dancer. So I went. Next thing you know, I'm alaka'i for her. And I loved research. Research, I love it. I just feel like, that's why I tell my dancers, you have to research what you're doing. I just can't teach you a 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not what hula's about. Hula is feeling the flow. It's understanding what you're dancing about and putting it into your terms. For instance, ho'onanea, my soloist is doing that for competition, my kupuna soloist. And I had to tell her, Auntie, you got to think about the first time that you met this man and all these things, you know?
Yep.
And it's just like, for them to be vulnerable enough to allow the mele to take them over, it gets, you have to be at a certain level in hula to really, truly understand that.
To understand ho'onanea, especially ho'onanea.
Oh, yeah.
I made like ho'onanea.
Oh, yeah.
I just
And
taught
that-
our papalawae class is learning ho'onanea. Yeah.
See, and that's the thing, too, is knowing what songs are appropriate for what age group. Mary, you can't do Maki Ailana with a bunch of keiki. They don't know what it's walking around holding hands. There's 2 or 3 other
They
couples
better not.
on the, right? Right? That's why I'm like, you have to know. Manu'o'o. Kids can't dance manu'o'o. That is, no.
They shouldn't. There's no way that they would understand that kind of love. Not yet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for me, understanding that and doing the research and those kind of things and bringing it to the table about comparing what this mele talks about, and you have to compare it to you, yourself. You have to compare it to the group you're dancing with. We're doing a mele for Kaleleo Nālani, and it was after both her husband and son went passed away, so she went on that journey to find herself, to find peace. And I tell the girls all the time, my wahine, you know, all of us go through trials and tribulations. You cannot speak if you don't know, because there's a thing between advice and opinion. When you dancing this mele, you have to put it in your terms. And if the dancer next to you hasn't experienced it, give them your advice. And it's up to them if they want to take it, or if it's up to them if they're going to hold on to it. So when they go ahead and experience something similar, or maybe the same situation, they'll be like, hey, I remember so-and-so told me this. I should really think about that. Because if you make the wrong decision now, just like the Hawaiian dial, 9 years later, you're going to go ahead and it's going to be presented again. And you have that choice. You're going to make the same mistake, or you're going to go ahead and make the pono one, right? So, and that's how my journey has been with hula. It's like, I finally realized in my late 20s, early 30s, right after I had my stroke, I think is when I really realized that hula was going to be my life. Like, I knew it, you know, and that Western mindset came in where they're like, no, you got to have a 9-to-5 job and you got to do this, you know, and I had a very successful medical career at the University of Washington for a long time. And it got to the point where I wasn't happy with myself.
Our nā'o wasn't filled. It just,
When you get off, when you get to your work and you're standing in front of the building and you break out in hives, and you are just shaking and you feel sick to your stomach like you want a palu, you know you got to go. It's not doing, you know, you're there to malama people and help them in the medical field, but you can't take care of others if you can't take care of yourself. I'm a big advocate on self-care. And I think a lot more people need to instill that in their life. We give, as Kumu Hula, we give so much. I got to take, every Monday I take off from doing hula stuff. And even, God bless my husband, man. He has been with me since high school. And he knew me when I was a lot, you know, on the line dancing. He knew me as an alakai. He didn't realize the in-depthness until we got back together later on in our adult years. And for the sacrifice he makes for me and Halau, he has to share me with 150 other people, not just haumāna, the parents, the grandparents. And a lot of people don't understand that. And I truly believe for us as Kumu Hula, no one will understand it except another Kumu Hula. That's why my circle is small. I cannot go and relate to other people. So like when we have our conversations, it's like, thank God someone hears me and they agree with me.
It's hard because that we have to keep our circle small though, because then we get just it's our self-care. The circle small is our own self-care.
And there are times where I've let my guard down and I never think, and the next thing you know, bam, mana munching galore. You know.
And just the namu action flying all around.
Oh yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, but you know, like I said, and I know you guys was there, trust and believe. Once that lei hulu comes off, be like, come talk to me. Come, Brian.
We have different conversation.
Oh, way different.
Period.
Yeah.
No, I think the thing that connected us was Auntie Aloha. I think for
Yeah.
I mean, of course, was our beloved Kalani Pea.
Oh yes, my cousin.
That guy who we love. But when when I was like, oh my gosh, that's what brought us together, because I was the same, as young, and part of a halau, and then came to a place here where I was like, oh, this is not where I need to be. I have to leave. And a lot of the people wanted to follow me, and they were just like, oh, open a halau. And I was like,
it's not that.
I was like, that you don't just open a halau. They're like, oh, but these people did it. I said, yeah, but I know better. I know better. I was trained better. I was raised better. So I know better not to do that. And so in that space was when my grandpa is Auntie Aloha's Tanai brother. Mm-hmm. And so my grandpa was like, well, let's go and we called her Auntie Faye. Let's go talk to Auntie and let's go see, And so I was just like, I don't know if I want to be in Hula, which was a hard one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it broke my heart to have to leave a halau that I was with, that I grew up in. And it was all the foundations that I believed in with Halau was just, I lost it because I had lost belief.
Yeah.
And so Auntie Aloha was the one that, just like
she brought me, yep.
Man, she brought me back, and she just, and the conversations, and it still sticks with me to this day.
Oh, yes.
When I finally decided, I was like, you know what, Auntie, yeah, I would be open to a Halau. And she reminded me, she's like, Hula is life.
Yep.
You eat, you breathe, you sleep. Everything is Hula. You will never know anything but Hula. That is what you will live. And I was like, and she's like, you have to be ready for that. And, she used to tell me about, like, the visions and, like, and you're there for the people. You're not just there for Hula.
Yeah.
You become a parent for so many other kids.
A therapist, an auntie.
A marriage therapist,
everything.
You become everything for our families. And I think that's what people don't understand, like, that's a Kumu Hula. A Kumu Hula is not just teaching.
You
Hula.
go there and you see them an hour, 2 hours a week, and then you go home. And I agree with you totally. I actually had a Hula instructor. Mm-hmm. I'll use that terminology.
Yes, okay. Or just instructor.
Yeah. Tell me that they had a situation with one of their haumāna, and the parents were coming to them asking them, advice.
Yeah.
And she told me, she goes, I'm there to teach them. I'm not there to be the counselor. And I had to really hold my tongue because of the fact that you don't understand what that kuleana is then. Because to this day, like even before I even got pulled up in the parking lot, I have parents calling me all the time. I have dancers, and I'm helping them through stuff that they're experiencing in their life. So you can't say that you're not their counselor. You're supposed to be there for them. That is our job, is to welcome them. But that's the other thing, is the haumāna have to realize, especially having a Western mindset of, if you're going to have that kuleana, you're going to accept kuleana, you got to follow through. And if you can't follow through, you got to have that accountability.
Yes.
The accountability factor is such a major thing within a halau. And they don't understand. If you can't do it, just tell me. But don't wait until
the last minute.
Your
problems. Yeah. We got to clean up stuff. Yep.
Or I'm pulling you from a big performance because of the fact that you got in your feelings and you didn't want to tell me the truth about what was going on. So because once you start making the excuses, and that is one of my main things. No excuses. I do not like excuses. Like I say that I have a weekly live every week, and so I like update the halau with what's going on.
Nice, beautiful, yeah.
I let them know, it's just like TV talk show, right? I jump on Facebook in our private group, and Kumu puts on her Mickey Mouse ears of the week, and I do my thing, and I just explain it to them. No excuses. If you can't make it to Hula, don't make some excuse up and give me a 5-minute read on a text because you just can't say, Kumu, I am not feeling well. Right. Don't tell me that your mom needs you to go change the ink in her printer because it don't work and you're going to be late. Bruh, no, I don't need to hear that. Just be honest.
Those are universal excuses that I've heard.
Girl, I've heard them all. Like,
Yeah, the 5-minute text reads, I'm always like, just say you can't come hula.
Yeah.
Just, it's, and you know what? Life happens.
Yeah.
Cool beans.
Yeah. And I always wondered how kumu hulas back in the day had all that patience. Knowing about how much they had on, you know what I mean? Like, the weight of everything. Because you're in a public eye as a kumu hula too. And I get that. Sometimes my mouth might get me in trouble, but I'm speaking facts because I'm not no fake one. I'm going to be real with you from the get-go.
Yep.
I'm super transparent. I'm an open door. I don't, there's nothing for me to hide. For what?
Yeah. And, like, how much do we dig into this? I think the thing about the transparency, I lean into the transparency really big, especially up here on the continent. When our hula people or hula instructors, or people who, what I found in Oregon, and I'm sure you've seen this, where you have Halau in Washington and in Nevada, so you have Halau in two places, but here in Oregon, hula has become a business. People use hula, or I want to say Pacific Island dance at that most, for money. It's their means of making profit.
Right.
It's, for us, that's not Halau and who we are as Kumu Hula. It has nothing to do, like, we have kuleana.
Yeah.
So whether or not there's, it's never about the money.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yes, do we need a place to have Halau? Yes, do we, those things. Yeah. But what I see in Oregon, it's so crazy to me when I hear from, like, the senior homes that are looking for people to come in hula, or for other organizations. And they're getting charged like $700 to $1,000.
Yeah.
For like a 30-minute hula performance, and it's like an a la carte action where you can choose like different, how many times you can change your ahu.
Okay, so that's interesting because I had someone book us for a adult senior living home, and they went to our website, they went to our YouTube to watch, and they asked me, "Can I pick which songs from the video?" And I was like, "What?" And she was like, "Well, I went to your website and then I went to your YouTube and I saw you dancing this song. Can I pick that song to have you dance?" I'm like, "No, absolutely not."
Because people are putting it out that way.
See, that's why I was kind of thrown off by that.
They have this whole like a la carte like form that you can, like, they send and people choose what they want you to do.
Yeah.
Down to the like, oh, we want your dancers to stand and greet at the door with a pink dress with.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh no.
Yes, that's what they're doing. I'm telling you, girl, it is crazy to me. And so when they come to our halau, and they're like, "Oh, so we're gonna pick ice," I'm like, "Oh, no, we don't do that. Oh, we don't get to choose a song." No.
I've had that where someone has asked about joining Halau, and they're like, "I want to be able to learn 12 songs within the year time span." I said, "I'm not a dance studio.
Yeah.
This is not a dance studio.
Yeah.
You don't get to pick so many credits or how many hours you coming in. What I teach you is what you learn."
Exactly.
And when I teach a mele, it's not going to be, okay, this is the physical motion. I want you to tell me about the composer. What was the composer's favorite flower? Although you may not get the full manaʻo if the composer's still alive, because that's not for them to give to you.
Yeah.
Whatever it was that they wanted to go ahead and do in the mele, that's on them.
Yep.
They can give you what they want in their ʻike and their manaʻo on it, but they're not going to give you the full-blown thing.
No.
And so when that woman asked me about learning 12 songs, I'm like, "I'm sorry." I go, "I'm not an entertainment group. I'm an educator. So we educate, we don't entertain."
We're a practitioner. This is what we're doing.
Yeah,
this is
cultural
our
practice.
practice.
Exactly.
And I had one person who wanted to join our halau, and they were like, "Oh, well, I only want to do traditional dance." And I was like, "Well, I'm a halau, so we are traditional is our focus." Like, I don't understand. Well, I want to choose to do the big drums.
Pahu.
And I said, well, what I told her, I was like, "Well, if you're gonna call it a big drum, then I think you need to start with the basics."
Yeah.
And the basics is first
and they don't like when
understanding.
you clock them.
Oh yeah,
They do not like when you clock them. But you know what? That's what we're supposed to be here to do. We're educating them so they're not calling it the big drum.
Yeah, exactly.
We're educating them and telling them, well, I'm sorry. If you want your vaile hua, you ain't doing no hula paho.
Thank you, mahalo.
And my dancers know that. And
Yep.
I feel, oh, I'm sorry. But they know better. And they are right up on it.
Especially
Like,
if we're-
Kumu, I can't do kaulilua.
If we're in protocol, you better know better.
Yeah.
It's automatic. No, and I think that's the and I think we can both share this, is that I've been on different phases on this journey in hula on the continent, right?
Yes.
Like as a young hula dancer, I was privileged to dance at home. I got to be immersed in all of that.
Yeah.
And olala Hawaii learning language. But here, right, when I started Halau, I was 25. Who
See, that
allowed
was
a 25-year-old?
think
to
about me,
start-
I was 20.
You see, like who thought it was okay? And it was so crazy because growing up, my family they would always tell me, "Oh, you're an old soul. You're an old soul." And I never understood what that means until now.
Yeah.
Now that I look back at a 25-year-old, I'm like, because in my head, I'm starting to say like, what is the longevity of Halau?
Yeah.
Like, who's the next person that's
Like, it trips me out that I can say I'm 29 years this year. Like that, I stop and look, and my hula brother said
That's
this to
older
me.
than me.
Okay.
Jokes.
I love it though. I love it. That's why I love you. No, but my hula brother said, he goes, you know what, T, you've been teaching longer than Uncle Newton was alive. Because my kumu passed away from a widowmaker heart attack at 36 years old. I was the first haumāna at the hospital when he passed. And that was the first time I ever fainted in my life. Because when you hear the words that, we're sorry, but he didn't make it. And here you are, a 13-year-old thinking, this was my whole world. My parents brought me to his hale every Friday night. I never had one boyfriend in middle school because of this. I was at Hula.
Hula was the boyfriend.
Yep. Oh, there's ski club. Can you come? No, I got Hula.
Yep.
Can you go to the movies? No, I got Hula.
Yep.
And for you, like, these are the things that I had to learn, that I can't feel sorry for myself because I had in the area what was available to me. But the fact that my Kumu Hula, especially Uncle Newton, introduced me to so many different people, O'Brien Eselu, and Tia Aloha, and Tia Ivalani Teseu, all of them. And now he had always told me, I do this so when I'm gone, you're going to have someone to go to.
And
when
you're
you need help.
rooted.
Yeah.
You're rooted.
So here I was, a girl born in Seattle, raised in Seattle, dancing hula all my life, had the opportunity to dance at Mary Monarch because I was at ʻike with my Halau, and that's the same year Uncle passed away. So reaching out to these other kumu hula and asking them, am I doing the right thing? Because, the old schoolers in Washington was all habut.
Yeah, there was. Up here on the continent, we get the hula police. I don't know. I don't know what their background or their qualifications are, but I think that's the other thing that connects us, is that we're rooted in Hawaii. And I think that's so important about Halau.
Yeah.
Is no matter where we are, we always remind our haumāna, our piko is Hawaii. We can be anywhere, and I think that's something beautiful that we bring to our Halau.
Now, with your Halau, your haumāna, are they from Hawaii, or are their parents from Hawaii, or you have dancers never even been Hawaii? You know what I mean? But they love the culture.
I have all of that.
Okay. Yeah, me
so,
too.
I think it's and it's so different. Like at home, that's a different. Growing up in Halau at home was very different. So I had to learn how to be Halau here, which is why, like, I look at my life, like, I'm like, wow, it's like I'm in my third, like, I was 25 to 35. I was kind of like, and Auntie Aloha really helped guide, the beginning stages.
Oh, yeah. Same
I
thing with
remember
me.
getting that phone call when she passed away, and I just...
Oh, yeah. I fell to
couldn't
the floor.
Oh my gosh, same.
I fell to the floor.
And
when I got
luckily
the
there was
phone
a
call.
chair right there, and I just dropped, because it was my mom who called me, and I said, this cannot be. And it was really not interesting, but we have the stories of 3, and like 2 years before that, I had lost my nephew, and then the next year I lost one of my alakai, and then literally a year. It was all a year, and then Auntie Faye come, and I was like, there's my 3, my 3 pillars, And these 3 pillars are the pillars of our halau.
Yeah.
Each of them have these different roles, but I had to like navigate what it was like to teach people who had never been to Hawaii.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I'm teaching them kawailele o nu'uanu. And ain't nobody know what nu'uanu looks like.
So crazy you just said that, because that's what my dancer's dancing at competition.
Oh, really?
That's her cutting.
Oh, see, kawailele, and one of my most favorite mele is kawailele o nu'uanu. And I didn't know how to, like, and so we'd go to Mount Noma Falls and, like, like you try to, like, find the places to connect them. And so I think it was 2012 or 13, I said, my goal for Halau is every year I take a group home to Hawaii. And I realized, it was then I realized that's my kuleana.
See, and I think that's like me. Same thing when we were celebrating the 25-year anniversary. I said, you know what, I gotta bring a group back home. So what I did was, I first started on the Washington coastline and we went to Ocean Shores.
Oh, beautiful.
I said, let's start here because this is our home.
Yeah.
We gotta start here. Brought them, did protocol at the ocean. We were chant everything. And then the next year we went Kauaʻi, because that's where my ohana's from, and I felt that was the most important part. I was able to bring them to the heiau. We did protocol up there, which was amazing. And then the next year we went Oahu.
Nice.
And every time we go, we malama'aina somewhere.
Oh, you know.
So we did ale koko on Kauaʻi, and then we did he'eia.
Beautiful. Paipai he'eia.
Yeah. And then we decided to do competition for 2 years. First time I went back and I competed in a Hawaii competition.
Was that Mokihana?
No, that was Hula Oni'e.
Oh.
Which was amazing because, and this is the thing about having Hoa, Kumu, is I saw my peers in the audience that came to actually support me. And they told me that, like, Chelsea was there, my cousin Alan, all them was there to support me and be there, hold space for me. And we were the only halau from the continent that came.
Beautiful.
And, and for me, the whole reason why we go festivals and competition is for purpose.
Oh, yeah.
It's not for prize.
Yeah. Yep.
It's not for prize, because if you go in with that mindset, you lose the whole intention of what you do.
The whole same thing.
Some people don't like that, though. They want to win.
And, I think the winning... So, we decided to start going home. And so, I actually... The start was Oahu. I started at Oahu so that they could meet Auntie Aloha. I took a group home. And that was our first. And just so happened, it was right around Kiki Hula. So, we got to help with Kiki Hula and stuff like that. Just in the background, like, help with a little bit.
Heck things. Yeah, and that's some of the funnest times.
Yeah, and for them to see them prepare, like, seeing the practice and all of that. So, that was super awesome. But we've made our way to Oahu. And then we went to Molokai.
Oh, nice.
We went to Maui, and then we went to Kauaʻi, and then we went to off the shores of Niihau. So we've done, but it was over the course of 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And so it wasn't until 2019 that I took my first group home to my island.
Yeah.
To when I was finally ready, because I needed them to see the mo'okoha of who I am, right?
Yep.
My family coming from Oahu, my grandma coming from Kauaʻi and Niihau, my family on Maui, and
that's another thing between us.
See?
That's the other thing. When you helped put my lei on at the Grammy performance, and you looked at that lei, and you said, my ohana made this.
Yeah. Oh, I could tell, because it was, there's a way to see when you see the way the leis are made.
Yeah.
Especially from Niihau, especially if you're growing up around it. So it was, but to have my haumāna see that. And I think the other thing too was for them to build pelina with not just with me, but to know that we're rooted in Hawaii. And then to take, like, when we went home to Maui for Uncle Ayao's funeral. Uncle Ayao Koa, who was part of raising me with Mama Koa on Maui. But when we went home, I had taken some of my girls who grew up, who Kalani has seen these girls since they were bebes, and now he's watching them become these young women. And so I took them home, and it was just so happy when Kamaka them were getting ready for Uniki. And so the girls were able to go and see them doing the pahu and just like
Yeah.
meeting all of these, they knew Uncle Alan, but meeting,
Yep.
all of his alakai, meeting them, and seeing that pelina, and then, but that's what we're doing. So what Kumu did for you is what I've been doing with my haumāna. Is like, no, you need to go and meet all of these people.
And
Your
that's what I tell
pelina,
my haumāna now.
that's your pelina. If you're gonna be in Hula, you need to have the pelina, especially if you are born and raised here.
Yeah.
I need you to remember that your pelina has to be in that's that piko that you have to come back to. And I think that's a huge difference. That's why, like, for us, we did dabble in competition. I think in 2017, my first babies of the Halau, right? The babies who dance are our lineage.
Yeah.
We were in 2017, we were doing our ʻike, and they did puakiele. They danced this beautiful mele. They all wanted to dance puakiele. And so I had gardenias brought in for them. They had these beautiful green velvet dresses. And my mom and I are standing. And they dance. And we're standing in the hallway. And my mom goes, they're ready. And I was like, shh,
Nānā.
what's happening here?
Don't put that
What's
in
happening
right
here?
now.
And she's like, it's not even, because mom was a competition.
Oh, yeah.
Mom was a beast. She was with Auntie Mary Wong. Her kumu was Auntie Mary them. Auntie Emma DeFree, like, that's her.
Yeah.
That's our family. And so she goes, it's not because you want to compete for the win. It's the discipline.
Yeah.
It's teaching them the discipline of what it means to be in that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's the part. There's the part where I tell myself, like, ooh, maybe that's where I may have, I don't want to say fail, but the challenge happened, right? Is because there is this group of haumāna, of olapa, who I was about to pour myself into.
Oh, yeah.
And what happened is that created a shift in the whole Halau. The whole, people who felt
the mindset,
like, yeah, the people who felt like I was playing favorites, or
I always tell that to I'm like, I don't care how cute your kid is.
Yeah, thank you.
That's not happening. No. Just because they're cute don't mean they dance good. Like, for real, let's be honest with one another. I don't care how many coffees you bring me. Your kid's going to be on the second line, not the first line.
And we love them.
I do.
You need them, because you know what? Those haumāna, they're coming for the pure joy of hula.
Oh, yeah.
Like the pureness of hula, in a sense of this is their mental health.
Mm-hmm.
That's what those, and even if that's the 3-year-old that's standing in the back row, we have a little hula baby, I call it, we always, my hula babies keep growing up, but we have a new hula baby, and she and the parents are always like, oh, is it okay? I'm like, bring the 1-year-old.
I tell them, say the same thing. I'm like, I'm the only one in Washington that takes him at 2.5.
See?
And because they say that they can't work with those kids, and the parents always like, are you sure? I'm like, you bring them in class, let them go. Cut the umbilical cord and let them go. Yep. Because even though they may not be in step with them, they're learning.
Oh, yeah.
They're going to go into the bathroom, close that door before they brush their teeth, and pretend that they're Miss Aloha Hula in the bathroom.
And because the age range between that 1 to about 10, our focus more is olelo, right? The language, and having them hear and having them hear that olelo. And so that 1-year-old starts to say poni or polu or ekahi or elu, like, it's like, just let them run, let them be in class. It's totally fine. Let them be in class, and you get to see them. And so this group of young girls at the time, they became young women. We saw them dance, and they did puakiele, and I said, oh my, like, amazing. Yeah. And so we're like, okay. And then the invitation to compete came, and I said, oh no. We're being invited to compete. Okay, so we're gonna compete. We come, and then Leato, and Kalani is doing a show in Florida, and Kalani Leato's like, oh, you should bring, because I don't know where he saw us dance. I can't remember. He goes, can you bring your girls to compete in Florida? I go, no, we're planning to compete here, so I don't have time to. Well, can you just bring one? And I'm like, I don't. What are you talking about? I don't. So last we're like, okay, we're gonna enter. We're gonna enter one. We're gonna take one dancer. I'm gonna take 4 other dancers with them. We're gonna go and I'm gonna train her, and I'm gonna train all. You guys are all training all at the same time. She step, you step, everybody. So this group that we were gonna go the following year to competition in 2020. We're going to the Georgia Open.
Yeah.
So we were already planning kids.
Oh, in Sacramento.
Yeah, in Sacramento. Yeah. So I said,
we were supposed to go that same year, and
in
then
2020,
yeah,
COVID,
and then COVID hit, and we could not go. And that's funny you said that because I just found the binder from 2020 with all like the travel plans and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because Uncle Rick had asked if we were gonna come back, and I was like, oh. I don't know, correct, because I think it was 2020, even this year, we still get asked, like, you gonna come? I'm like, I don't know. But when we went to Florida, I mean, she swept. She delivered. And I said, and it was...
And that feeling.
That
as much as you poured into her, and...
You know, and
for you, it wasn't about the win. Nope. It was just the fact that she's showcasing you.
And the pride that all 5 of them had together was like, yeah, she placed, but for them it was like it made them valid.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Like I'm valid.
Yeah.
I am a hula dancer. I am doing this. Yep. Like this is what I'm doing. And we had Auntie Nettie, Kauaʻi was he was one of the judges, and I mean, just an angel, like just the manaʻo that they wrote after to hear, and I had her read it.
Yeah,
I said, "This is what the judges said about you."
Yeah, and that's
like you were 1 point from 100.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, because I had too many like hulus on her, but whatever.
No, but that's the thing too. Like I started competing in the 90s, right? Like so, I opened Halau 96.
I was just born.
In 96, I opened Halau, and I think 2 years later is when, because I opened up with 5 dancers. That's it. The 5, and to this day, I still talk to every single one of them. Like, they may not physically be part of Halau, and they say that when they come watch Halau, they're like, dang, T, I remember when there was only 5 of us. Now you have 5 locations. They're like, I can't believe that. Like it's like this, and like my niece, she just moved back in with me from Las Vegas. She was like, I remember when I was the only keiki for like 3 years. Yeah. She goes, now it's like and for me, it's not the quantity, it's the quality of what I do. Exactly. It is the quality of what I do.
Exactly.
If I have to if the minimum amount is 3 dancers for competition, you guys want to go compete? Okay, 3 of you, let's go. But remember, don't go there thinking you're gonna win. You gotta go and do it for what you love.
What you're sharing. Yeah.
You're sharing.
That's my mom. My mom always, and I always tell my, that's not, as we know, us poe Hawaii, we're competitive.
Back in the day, I'm not gonna lie, and like you said, the different levels that you've gone through, through life as a kumu hula, I'm not gonna lie, and I'm saying this so everyone hears it, and you're not hearing no rumors from the Coconut Connection, but I was that one. We're gonna go win. You guys want to do this, then let's get down right now. You don't go in there. And the thing was, I always placed in Kahiko. I never placed in Awana until like my final year back in the early 2000s of competing before I had my stroke. And my wahine won first in Awana. I was like, are you kidding? Because I was so Kahiko driven.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love when someone comes up to me and they say, girl, when you ho'opa'a, it is on another level. Because I transcend, I'm not there.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think that's what also drew me to you, because I went up with Kalani when he sang at Leialoha. I think that's the first time we met.
That's the first time we met, yeah.
The first time we met. I'm always like, how do I say this so nicely? But I guess I just gotta say it. Like oli and chanting and doing kahiko, especially in our area, is questionable. I'm not trying to be the hula police, but a little bit am. It's just really questionable because I have gone to hula events where I've listened to the chanting, and I don't know what's
going on.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what and I get it. Like, yes, up here aren't a lot of like you don't have access to Olelo Hawaii the way that we do at home, but that cannot be an excuse anymore.
Yep, and that's
because
so true.
There is access.
Because if I had access before the internet came out, you all have access.
Exactly.
So it's how much you want to take it to that next level.
Period.
If you're not going to do the research and not take the time to learn, and that's the problem. A lot of people think once they get to this Kumu Hula status, they don't need to learn anymore. Yeah. We are learning every single day of our life until the time we are going, going to the Levelani's. And you can't have that mindset. Nope. You can't think, I'm right. This is all I know.
The moment you think you don't have anything else to learn,
see, like we had we had that conversation about how I felt kind of disconnected because I didn't fluently Olelo Hawaii. Mm-hmm. But you said the fact that I can understand it and I use it a little by little, that's good.
And that's the thing is like people think that, oh, I don't speak Olelo Hawaii.
I'm not fluent. No. I'm not fluent because I know people have heard that I am, and I'm not. I'm just going to tell you.
And the thing about it is, you don't have to be fluent to speak Olelo Hawaii. The language lives when you simply use the word say aloha. When you say aloha, one of your keiki is going to learn the word aloha, and then they're going to carry it on. I cannot tell you how many times I hear from the parents, our makua, from the keiki about how like at school they decided to teach people.
Oh yeah, they're having hula on the recess playground. I get that one
all the time, and it's just so interesting. I mean, so it's not about being fluent; it's about the revival of our language. Is keeping all of those components. Our olelo no'eau, right? Like, and so that's different when you're identifying and you're putting in the effort, right? Versus a lot of what I see here is that people, and the other thing too, I just want to point out, language is not something that can completely be self-taught. We have a lot of self-taught people who teach Hawaii language on the continent. And the reason why I bring that up is because you need to have somebody to converse with. Mm-hmm. You need to have somebody who can give you the kauna. Kauna in hula, and there's kauna in olelo.
Yes.
There's so much kauna in olelo. Like,
yes.
I have so many times that my haumāna like, oh, well, but you said this word in this time. So, for example, like, I always tell them palikikua. 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 Like, when you hula no palikikua, it's automatic, and all of them just automatic. They know what that means. And then as they grow up, they're like, Auntie, why do you say pali? Pali means cliff. And I'm like, yeah, but pali kekua, like your back's straight like a cliff. And they're like, but that's not what that means because the cliff. And I'm like, okay, we're not going to get into all of this. But the words have different manaʻo. Or like the simple, like, my biggest one is mai.
Yes.
Mai versus mai. Ehele mai. Ehele mai. Those little things, right? And so sometimes when you're a self-learner, you don't hear that. You don't hear it. So you gotta be around people who are willing to, and that's the thing. And I think every podcast I keep calling out my Olelo Hawaii people. Like, sometimes people get very hesitant to reach out to fluent language speakers because I've heard, sometimes we can be a little bit rude. I try not to be a kalamai. Again, I apologize for all of them again. But I think it's because it's not that is that we take a lot of, especially like for myself or like our generation with like Kalani them, like we take a lot of pride in it just because.
Oh heck yeah! I love when you both are speaking. I can understand you, but I just can't answer you. But when you guys kick in and we're talking like this, and all of a sudden he's there, and you guys go to town, I'm like, sometimes I get jaded. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I could, but for myself, I didn't take Olelo Hawaii classes until I was 10 in Washington.
See,
a woman that was from Hawaii Island.
Yep.
Auntie Pua Case.
Oh,
she was my first Olelo Hawaii kumu.
And that's the thing is like, but it's the thing about it too is like, when I hear you folks oli, when I hear your olapo oli, and that's my thing too, my haumāna, is I always tell them, I said, I need to hear you like I hear Hawaii. And it was interesting because the first time my young ones went home, and I took them home. Well, they've been home a few times, but 2019 was their first trip together. And we went to Anakalakavika's Aina University. We went, Anakikaipala was Puna Leo, so we know each other for a long time. And so I took them out there, and it was like their first like into protocol.
Ah, okay.
Like, you're not gonna walk in, but it was so awesome that they knew. And Uncle Kavikudam was like, wow, that was so awesome that they just knew, like, you stand at the, you makau, you ready to oli, and you're gonna oli before to do that protocol. And the other thing was that, because they're all Olala Hawaii, Aniki Kaipala and her Kiki are all Olala Hawaii people, to have heard them oli, and she goes, it was like they're from home.
Yeah, yeah.
And I said, that's our kuleana. And even when we went to Molokai, when we went to Kiawanui, before we go in, my haumāna are there, and I took the makua. I took the older ones, and they knew, like, we're not gonna walk in, we're gonna oli.
Yep.
And to hear that, they're like, it's like they didn't know we were from the continent. Mm-hmm. And that's
like how Kahoku thought when my kikis, and that was Hapahaole, but she thought that we was from Hawaii.
Yeah.
Like, when I got that compliment from her, or, I was just like, I remember when I was a kiki, that's how I wanted to look. Yeah. I wanted to be,
Because, and that's our kuleana.
Yeah.
That's our kuleana.
Yeah.
It's our kuleana to make sure that piko is connected.
Yeah.
That they are rooted in what it is.
Oh, I have 6-year-olds going to vacation on Maui with their ohana, and they were there on a Sunday. She went to the water, and she did our halau oli, and she told her mom, I know my aunties and my hula sisters are practicing right now. Do you think if I do our halau oli, they're going to hear me across the water, Mom? Okay. And my God, she sent me that video. And she's the one Kalani brought up on stage to do Kaʻulu Vehi o Ke Kai.
Oh, the little one. Yeah. That's right. Okay.
The little Beyonce one, yeah. Mm-hmm. Her. And the fact that they have no shame because they love their hula.
And because that's what
they don't feel like
in them. But you've instilled that in them to have that pride. And I think that's, with our older generation, I think that's what we're still challenged with up here. And I think that's the difference with home, is that there's still some shame at home too, but up here, the shame that we have to like knock down for our haumāna of like feeling like they're not enough to be in halau, or like, oh well, I don't speak olelo, I don't do this. Yeah, girl, so does the other 30 people in this class.
Right.
What is it? I don't.
Right.
And it's like, and I think that's what I wish that people at home would understand. Like, there's a whole barrier that our people have to go through before they even step into halau. Yeah. Like that feeling of like, I mean, the countless emails that I get from like people who are living here to join halau, and the way that they always start the emails like, oh, I just want to apologize. Like, I am not from Halau. I got that. Hula.
That's so crazy. I got that same email. I'm not of Polynesian or Hawaiian descent, and I'm just wondering if it's okay that I'm inquiring about classes, or the ones that, I'm a former Merry Monarch dancer. I'm wondering if you'd be willing to accept me. Come, girl, show me your Merry Monarch.
I love those. I love when they first lead with that, because I'm like, okay, so you trying to test me
first. Who's your kumu?
Yeah,
I'd like
exactly.
to give them a phone call, because that's Hula protocol.
For me, I'm like, well, who's your kumu? And then when they realize, like, oh, you guys know each other. Yeah, girl, that's how this works. That's how it's works. And then or even when my heart is always happy when it finally gets to the point where my haumāna are moving home. As much as I love everybody living up here too, because this is our community. When they reach out to say, "Oh, Kumu, I'm gonna move home," my heart is always, I'm always so happy, and I think
Where are you moving to? Are you thinking about doing hula? I know so and so
exactly.
So and I've done that. I asked my Kumu back home, hey, so and so's moving back. Are you taking any students right now? Because up here, we do advertisements for open enrollment. Yeah. Back home, a lot of it is word of mouth only. Word of mouth, They're not doing that whole.
And if they do an open enrollment, that means it's like that's the one time. Yeah, they do it. But we have haumāna now, like at like with Kauaʻi. Yeah, we have one of our Bryson, who's from here. He's with Uncle Sunny them, and then
I have a former dancer that is with Sunny.
See,
Keiki.
and it's just so it's awesome. I know I have other places, but I cannot think of mine. So if they're listening to this, sorry, but it's just so nice to see that that they have that place to go home. And then also like, or when I have a haumāna who reaches out to a kumu at home, that kumu automatically will reach out to me.
Yeah, and that's how it's supposed to be.
It is, and it's just, and that's the pelina, and so that's what I need. Especially here, and I can only speak for Oregon's a lot. I lean on Oregon a lot because so much of we have dance studios. Is that what we should call them? Is it dance studio? We have so many dance studios here.
The kind where the person would take plenty workshops from other kumu hula, but not currently study or have studied formerly with someone, and they said, "Oh, I have all these workshop hulas under my belt.
Yep.
That makes me a kumu hula." No, because when I see that, and I've gone to things where they list I have studied under, and what my auntie was written on this one lady's one, and I called my auntie. I said, "Hey, auntie, you ever went teach this lady?" And she goes, "Who is that?" I said, "That's what I'm asking you."
That's always
because you took a workshop for $40 and you think you can claim my auntie's name.
Yeah.
Mary, no.
Oh, I've been at like performances or competitions where they've clocked some of their this is my kumu who gave a blessing, and I'm already sitting there texting.
Oh,
like what's happening?
You remember California? That's a different show for a later hour.
Another hour, yeah. But it was just so interesting when they were. And I would get the message back, and they're like, we didn't give any. What are you talking about? We have no idea." And I'm like, I'm just telling you that's what they just said at a competition.
They told me this, and I heard this, and
actually, they just told everybody in the park about this. So like, it's not just me hearing it; it's all these people.
But I'm just getting clarification because I always remember Nānā ʻike kumu. Yeah, go to the source. Always. Don't listen to coconut wireless.
Never. And it's really. It's super interesting, and like you don't want to be the hula police, you don't want to be that person, but at the same time you have a kuleana to do it.
Yes,
we have a kuleana to do it, and so when people get upset at us, like, "Oh,
you trying to start waves, you
trying to be gatekeeper." No, we're not trying to be the gatekeeper. We're trying to do it pono.
But I will, and I'm gonna say because I was called a gatekeeper recently. But you know what? I'm gatekeeping my hula lineage.
Yep. 100%.
It's not for everybody. I'm not going to share what Uncle Newton has taught me. I'm not with anybody. It's a specific group of people. So if I have to be called a gatekeeper, hey, right here, put the badge on me. Yep.
And that's why in my halau, when people were getting they were getting to a place of like, feeling like I was favoring other people, and I had to explain, and this is the part where I think this is the continent mentality where like I feel like I owed an explanation, which I shouldn't have. I should not have explained, which is why I'm in clean house in Halau, and we had to like we're in clean house. But anyway, the thing about it is they were just feeling like I was giving too much to other people, but the answer to that is I am gatekeeping what I know, and I only going to share it with the ones who have proven, who have shown the interest, who have shown the loyalty, who continues to stand day in and day out. And that's a lot of the comments was like, "Oh, they're too young," and because I'm not ready. Why? I'm not ready to pass over the halau yet.
Yeah.
So they should be young. They should be the ones that's growing up in our halau, in our style, meeting all our people, knowing how to eat, breathe, and sleep like Auntie Le.
Yeah.
They should know before I step which way I'm going to step.
Yep.
Those are the people who I'm gatekeeping.
Yep.
And if you felt like I was gatekeeping and I was favoring them, that's on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that means you should look in the mirror and ask yourself why you not part of that group. It was not for me.
Amen.
And everybody, when an alaka'i or when that person steps into the light and that's the person it's time to train them.
Yeah.
It's not, I didn't choose them. Somebody else did.
Yep.
Our kupuna chose them.
That's what happened to me. I had a situation where I had, I thought this was the one. And because one of my mentors came to me, but then when it turned out not to be the one, guess who came in full barrel in my vision? Auntie Aloha. She was yelling at the other kumu. What you thinking? Like in my dream, and I'm like, oh, these people are having an argument in my dream because I made, but I was trusting what I felt that was given to me and to go with it. And you know what? Again, it's a learning lesson.
It is. It definitely. And the thing about it is, we have to go. If we didn't go through all of that, we didn't know how to navigate. I mean, now it was just like my sister, Celine, 2 years ago, when Kahiko started, it started as a space for us. We were just gonna go tarot. Was this non-profit organization. We was going to go tarot, hang out, cook out some days. That's it. That's all we was going to do.
Let's eat.
And then COVID happened, and we had to launch into a whole new ball game, right? For Kahiko. Kahiko became what it started to become what it is now.
Mm-hmm. And look where you guys have brought it. It is amazing. To be here, like for me to be able to see all this, I've seen it on social media. We've talked about it, but I want to say to you, congratulations for all this hard work that you've put in to your peoples, everybody that's part of your lāhui here with this, I mean, like I said earlier, this needs to be even brought to a higher forefront for you guys, because you do some amazing stuff. When I see you you was on TV, girl, in Hawaii. I was like, I know her. I'm so proud of her.
It's this, but that's the thing is, like, being a Kumu Hula, they have to understand that there's this other aspect of us too. We have all of these talents and we're surrounded by talent.
Yeah.
And we have to bring them together. And so, like, in Halau, 2023, my little sister had to remind me. She goes, well, your Halau is feeling the pull. And I said, what? She's like, you need to hug them. I said, what? She's like, you're giving a lot to Kahiko. She's like, you're forgetting to hug your Halau. And what was she, 21, 22 at that point? And I was just like, how is this 21-year-old telling me? Because we had some pilikia in Halau.
Right.
And I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
You out. Like, it was just like, I'm not dealing with this. What is happening? And she's like, well, 1, you really got to clean house. And 2, you need to hug people. And I was like, what are you talking about? And so I had to sit back and relax and realize, I was like, wow, like, we're building this. And Halau already had a foundation, and I was already challenged with, you can't bring Halau into this space. And one of my mentors told me, the reason why we're working with you is because you're a Kumu Hula, because you have a Halau. You're coming into this work, you need to come in as a Kumu Hula. You can't be a Kumu Hula and Leialoha. You are a Kumu Hula. Mm-hmm. All the work. And I was like, yeah, that's right. What we do, we're not just lei. We have a kuleana.
That's the other thing too. People don't realize as Kumu Hula how much we put in of our own. Like the fact that people sit there and like, well, how come this costs this? Hey, brah, I went cut. I paid for half of it. You only paying a small portion. Like my husband's always like, well, what's going on? Why are you paying for this? That's my job, man.
Yeah, that's what exactly.
I have to. If someone can't afford it, I can't X them out because they don't have the funds to pay for a dress, or whatever. Because
that's what we do. That's our kuleana.
It is.
It's our kuleana, and people will never understand. But because we could kūkākūkā talk story all day long. This could be an episode 2 for this one.
We're
gonna to be continued, but mahalo for coming and sharing, mahalo for talking story, because I think we need to have more of these kinds of conversations in a lot of different spaces, not just in hula. I think cultural practices like lomi and la'olapa, we need to have we need to bring cultural practitioners who can, for a lack of better words, put out our mo'o kuauhau. Mm-hmm. Like when you can drop your mo'o kuauhau, then people have to start understanding, like, that's the difference between cultural appropriation.
Yep.
Cultural appropriation is if you show up to a space and you cannot give your mo'o kuauhau, then you gotta question the person you're learning from. And so, mahalo for coming all the way from Seattle.
Thank you for having me. This
coming
was so
down over
much
here,
fun.
talking story with us. You're gonna see a lot of us.
Oh, I can't wait to see the comment section on this one.
And you might see us the next. You'll see us. I gotta put a plug.
Oh, okay.
For our dear brother. Mm-hmm. You'll see us again. You'll see us here, our Halau here in Beaverton. You see Mokihana them in Kirkland. December 7th is
December 7th.
December 7th.
It's a weekend one, so everyone can make it. It's not middle of the week.
Yeah, no more excuse for not coming. Ours here in Beaverton is on Friday, December 5th. We're in Corvallis, December 6th, and then he's up in Kirkland on December 7th.
I know.
So he's just back to back.
He's
going back to back.
Yeah.
We have some special guests coming. We're not going to share it because they're special guests.
We cannot share.
But he's the reason why we've connected. We're I mahalo him. I mahalo you.
I mahalo you.
We have these moments of being able to have this connection.
Even if it's not face-to-face. The mahalo for voice recording on the text message. It's very helpful.
This is my person who taught me how to do voice text messaging. Thank you. I send it to my staff and they're like, what is this? I was like, this is a new way of texting. This is the new day and age, how we do it now. So, but anyway, mahalo for coming.
Thank you.
Mahalo for all your aloha.
Oh,
I always,
I love spending time with you.
I just love being with you and your energy all the time. So I'm so excited to have you. But mahalo to all of you for joining us today for episode 6 of KOKO Podcast. And it sounds like there's going to be a part 2 of this duo. But for now, come and join us at episode 7 next month. It's a surprise. Aloha.
Aloha.